I'm going to talk today about a status report on today's global metal casting industry. I'm also going to give you an assessment of what we see our industry needs to continue to move ourselves forward. I've been lucky throughout my career that I've had an opportunity to visit many metal casting facilities across the globe. And although we all have major cultural differences between our countries, the metal casting bind that we have has showed us that we all have obstacles, that if we work together to identify, we can work to overcome to help push our industry forward. And that is what my presentation today is about. We're now going to take a look at some of the strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities and threats that face our metal casting industry. But I want to reiterate the point. Yes, we have a lot of differences in our metal casting industries, but the reality is the challenges and obstacles we all face are all the same. We all have to find ways to overcome these problems, whether they're technical problems, whether they're environmental problems, whether they're perception problems or image problems or customer problems. They're all things that we need to continually work on and share and exchange information on so we can improve, because ultimately it's our profitability that needs to improve for our metal casting industries to continue to move forward. I'm going to hit a few of these points in slides that are coming down, but some of our strengths: technology development, raw material availability, proximity to customers. If you look at our weaknesses, we have industry perception, technology adoption, fixation on production. Some of our opportunities include conversions to castings, and some of the threats, what's happening with environmental and safety pressures from our government and our communities.
那么作为一个 SWOT 分析，这是一个从我们的优势、劣势、机遇和挑战这么一个分析。这样呢，对这个分析呢，我想对全球各国的这个铸造行业都是适用的。那么从优势来讲，我们有技术的进步，有原材料的丰富，以及我们和客户的这种密切的这种关系，以及我们生产率的持续的提高。从劣势看呢，我们有我们行业形象，也是我们的铸造行业的一个劣势，以及我们采用一些新技术的这种愿望，但它的速度，很多工厂的话，采用这个新技术的应用呢是比较慢，这也是一个劣势。还有一个，我们铸件产量大，利润薄，这也是我们的一个劣势。还有一个就是从铸件的设计、新产品的研发到最终推向市场，这个速度呢是比较慢的。那么作为机遇呢，我们有其他零件，像铸件这样的一个转换的一个机会，还有我们通过设计和加工来增加我们的附加值这样的一个机会。同时我们全球都面临政府的立法，在环保、安全。立法对我们的要求越来越高，这是我们共同面临的一个挑战。
If we talk about one of our strengths of technology development, there's been amazing advances out there in the supplier community. We all know simulation modeling, but the ability to model these castings before they even get into the mold has become such a science and such a capability. The trial and error methods are silly these days because of the accuracy of the models. If you talk about the automated pouring systems that have been developed, it's not just for the high production automotive facilities, but for the jobbing facilities, and it increases the safety in our plants. If you talk about rapid manufacturing and rapid prototyping, we have production facilities machining no-bake sand molds, eliminating the need for tooling. We have rapid prototyping processes where you can produce sample castings, eliminating the need for tooling. If you talk about alloy development, from nanoparticle casting to self-healing alloys, there's things on the verge of being out there in the production world that will revolutionize what's going on in metal casting. This is one we see in the US. It's one we see in China. It's one we see in Europe. It's what the perception is of our industry by the government, by our customers, by the people who live around our metal casting facilities. We are not perceived as a clean, technologically advanced industry. The pictures you see on the left are taken from some major newspapers across the globe. We should be showing the pictures on the right, which shows a better representation of our industry. While we may not think public relations and some of these other initiatives help the bottom line, the reality is we need our customers, we need our regulators, we need our neighbors to see us as the industry we are, rather than what their perception is. That ultimately will help push us forward improve the profitability of our metal casting facilities. We must take it upon ourselves to market our metal casting facilities. We must market our industry. We must go out to the schools. We must go out to our government officials. We must go out to our communities and talk about who we are and what we bring to our community and to manufacturing as a whole. We have to focus on our websites. We have to focus on our brochures. We have to talk about these things. Typically, the young people in our industries or in manufacturing don't know what metal casting is. People are graduating from their high schools, from their colleges, with no understanding of what metal casting is. That's going to relate to an industry that's going to be dying 10 to 15 years from now. We need to focus on presenting who we are and what we are and the value we bring to society. One of the biggest threats that faces our industry is alternative processes and materials. We often are focused on the production going on in our plants. How many castings we're shipping? What's the tonnage that we're putting out? How much are we melting? How many castings are going out the door to our customers? But we have to take time to examine what's happening in the powdered metal market, what's happening in the fabrications market, what's happening in the plastics market. All of these industries target metal casting. Whether they run advertisements in magazines or technical articles in journals or presentations at conferences, they are out there talking to our customers, the casting buyers of the world, about how they can replace metal castings at lower costs and reduced weights and all of the buzzwords that customers want to hear. We need to be doing more to go out and look what the plastic market is doing, look what powder metals and fabrications are doing, and explain why metal castings are a better alternative for these opportunities. Because that's how you grow the metal casting industry. It's not by taking work from somebody across the street for 5 cents or less a pound. It's developing new work for our industry. We all face the pressures from our governments, talking about regulations to reduce environmental problems, to reduce worker safety problems. These are all things we're focused on. There's other issues out there, whether they're energy-related issues, whether it's climate change legislation that's affecting many countries out there. This is a big threat to what the future is of our metal casting industry. But we have to attack these issues head on. We have to acknowledge that we may have issues with safety or environmental compliance and look for ways to improve our manufacturing facilities. Not wait till somebody comes and knocks on the door and says we have to improve it. I commend again the Japanese industry for the efforts they've done. In the U.S., we work with our Occupational Safety and Health Administration on ways to educate and further improve our safety record. We go actively and proactively work with our environmental agency to work with regulations so it can help our marketplace. It's only through this proactive working with the government and the regulatory agendas can you improve what's going on and make it a situation where your metal casting facility can not only survive but prosper to greater profitability. There's tremendous opportunities in new markets for metal castings. New ones that are developed are found every year. 10 years ago, it was the wind energy industry. Still very strong globally, but that was a new market with tremendous opportunities for ductile iron castings. Within the U.S., we have an older baby boomer generation that's retiring, and with that's come the growth in medical as a major market for aluminum and iron metal castings. From the implant from the hip you see there to the medical equipment that's being put into hospitals every day. The growing population means medical market is a growing market for metal castings. We have electric cars and the hybrid cars, where you have the opportunity for cast components for the battery as well as for the internal combustion engine. Those are tremendous new opportunities, and as electric cars continue to grow and grow globally, that's an entirely new market for metal castings. The key is to identify these markets early, get to the customers, the designers and buyers who are producing the assemblies and end products for these markets, and find out where they're using these fabrications, find out where they're using other materials, and try to find opportunities for metal castings. But you have to be proactive in finding these markets. We can no longer wait for these markets to come to us. We talked about finding new opportunities for metal casters and not just making everything about a commodity that can be priced per pound. You take this picture in the top left, it is an instrument panel for a BMW.
This was once a steel stamping that was replaced by a one-piece magnesium die casting. You see the casting at the bottom right for an agricultural equipment component. It was once a three-piece steel weldment that was replaced by a one-piece ductile iron casting. In both of these cases, we eliminated weight for the customer. We reduced costs for the customer. We improved functionality of the component for the customer. There is no other manufacturing process that can produce metal components with the geometric capabilities or complexities of the metal casting industry. We can't forget that. We have to go out there to our customers' manufacturing floor and find these weldments, find these fabrications, find these other components and show them how they can be made as a metal casting to improve performance, reduce weight, and improve profitability for the customer and for us. I showed this chart earlier, and yes, globally we had casting reduction during the recession in 2009 and 10. But as I said, global metal casting production is forecast to reach at least 110 million metric tons by 2015. I believe we're going to surpass that because the demand for metal castings just continues to grow globally. And whether you're producing them in the US, Germany, Japan, China, or India, the world is so small that the opportunities exist for us anywhere and everywhere. But you need to provide something different for that customer. You can't just be producing a commodity casting because price doesn't cut it anymore. It's what that added value is that you're providing to that component. The added value in design, machining, capabilities, whatever that is, that's what we have to focus on as this industry has tremendous opportunities for production over the next 10 to 20 years.